How you guys doing? Um, as usual, I gotta check, make sure the sound and everything is working okay. Um, hey, Donald, John, Raymond, Paul, Michael, Brian, how are you doing? Everybody's here. Abdul. Oh man, I sort of put. I saw this dramatic cartoon that included had to include Abdul as, as the guy to contact on Etude number 4. Oh, good sound and video, good. Well, guys, I tell you, let me give you a quick report of the gala last week, and then we can get started on a lot of stuff. I've also talked to lots of people. So anyway, about, and by people, I'm talking about uh, Nicholas Vidarek. Some with a little with Matthew. Matthew's been sort of hard to get a hold of because of he's got this new project coming out of his own, and he's working hard on that. So, hello, Graham, Nigel, how you guys doing? Okie doke. Well, despite the fact that we didn't have one of our watches at the gala, lots and lots of people were interested in it. Who wasn't McGill? I think it was McGill who went to the Watches and Wonders and met a lot of people, and it turned out that the people he ran into in the independent group seemed to know about Lyrique, which is good. I'll get back to that in a bit. So we've got. I got an email from the guy who won the watch on the auction. It brought in 18,000. Was a little less than we hoped for, but still it wasn't bad. Given the way the auction was done and sort of the setting and so forth, it did better than just about everything else. But otherwise, we were hoping for 50,000 or something. But I guess they have to serve more wine next time. It generally though it went pretty well. Okay, let's talk about. We got two things we need to cover: Etude number 2 and number 3. Getting all the parts. I mean, this. I'm hoping that the chaos has been receding. One thing I would like to say, in many ways, we're like a real watch company where all kinds of stuff happens. That we're not, put it this way, I suppose if we had orders of 5 and 10,000, we might be viewed a little more, little differently. But 100 is pretty good. We're putting in $1 million into the economy and to somebody's coffers. So we're not, like I said, we're not nothing. But I think I've been listening to other watch companies going through the same thing. The cases weren't done right, this and that, and everything's going on. Hey, Marco. Anyway, now here's what I'm hoping that will transpire. Everyone was getting ready for Watches and Wonders. Watching Watches and Wonders really isn't important to us because we don't show a watch there, how it does or how anybody else does. Really, it doesn't affect us too much. There's I think later, it may be in the fall, there's another watch show that most of us haven't heard about, and it's where they get together with the people who are making all the parts, the gears, and so on and so forth. That would be an interesting show to go to. So anyway, so that was sucking the wind out of everything, and that's over. Now then, this is the next part. Catton left Voutilanen and Catton. All right. Catton, the name Catton and watch cases is an old one. It goes way back. At some point, I guess they needed help to, stay afloat, and Kari Voutilanen bought into them, and they, at some point, Catton just figured, okay, well, I'm out of here. I don't know why. It could have been talking to Nicholas. It seemed it had more to do with just like, enough's enough. I'm tired of this, and I just don't feel like making cases anymore, and left it to Voutilanen. And from what I understand from Nicholas, they're really scrambling to get people to replace the people that had to be replaced once Catton left. I don't think it had anything to do with us. Wasn't anything any of us said that. Now then, to top that off, the Director General, Christopher Bocha, who was Matthew knew him when we first started talking about this. God, it's been a couple of years ago that we were talking about the Guy Lochet. Matthew said, "Hey, I know the guy who's the head of it," and he was referring not to Kari Voutilanen, who is the actual head of it, but Christopher Bocha, and he was the guy we made the original deal with and everything else. And he left Coal Mine. Now, I don't think that's going to affect us because I think all of those were delivered. I gotta double check with Sebastian tomorrow and find out what's going on with that. So those are two things there. Yeah, Paul. I think I'm sure that's right. It's the same reason that H. Moser bought into Agenor. Why don't we buy part of Agenor? That would be fun. We will be part owner. I got to talk to Nicholas. What it would cost. So anyway, I guess he solved that problem. By the way, too, my understanding with Combla Mine this is from Matthew. I hope I have this right. But I thought it was started by Bocha, but it wasn't. It was started by Voutilanen, or bought from somebody by Voutilanen, and then he brought on Christopher Bocha to run it. That I may be wrong about that, but I think talking to Matthew, that was the case. So anyway, poor old Kari has been pretty busy with patching up a lot of stuff, plus his own business. And anyhow, and naturally, we're Lucky Pierre. We're right in the middle of it. But like I said, I think we're okay on the dials. It's the cases. It's not that the cases didn't show up; they just didn't show up correctly. While we're talking about that, there was some issues with the hands. I was really surprised to hear that. The hands that were on the watch that I had until I broke it, which wasn't long, turned out to be the stem. I broke the stem somehow. I don't know. Stems aren't supposed to break. Anyway, that's that's coming back. And and looking at the hands and the close-ups I took of that, they look fine, I thought. But what do I know? Maybe there's something that I missed that it was caught up with else by somebody else. By the way, this is very important. Anything that goes on with our videos or our websites or our Facebook pages shouldn't really go out. I saw this thing this morning on the High Horology Lounge, which is, you don't put stuff there because the next thing you know is going to be, if you're upset about something, keep it here. Don't post it elsewhere. This is en toi noir, so to speak. Hi, Krill. Hi, MS8. How you guys doing? Oh, Manuel, hi. Yeah, oh, good. Okay, you were the guy with all the great, there were all of these great pictures of Manuel and everybody who's who. Manuel was he was the guy who was telling me about the people knew about Lyrique. You got anything you want to add to that, Manuel? Anyway, if you do, just pop it right up there. Okay, so let's talk about the shipping schedule. It needs to be updated as parts arrive at Made. So last week, I think it was last week, I told you that on Monday I would be contacting Sebastian about that, and I did that. And I didn't hear from him. And I heard a couple of days later, he said, "Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, Bill, but things are sort of in a uproar right now, and everybody's running around with this thing with Watches and Wonders." And so again, I find the best way to make a contact is in the evening. I'll get the email out. I'm gonna try to really put it in such a way that it's like easy to see what we need or what we need to know. I mean, it's very frustrating. I mean, if it's like if all of the hands haven't come in, or there's a problem with them, or if it's the cases, or if it's the dials, or what is it? We have all of the straps, not worried about that. We got all of the pouches, not worried about that. We got all of the buckles, and not worried about that. It's just primarily the cases and the dials. I think the dials are going to be okay, so it comes down to the cases. Now, at the same time, we're waiting for more movements to come from Agenor. I think, God, I'm going to check on the exact number. I hate to say anything on that. So, when people ask the perfectly reasonable question, when am I going to get my watch? The answer is as soon as Made can get them and put them together. And that's as soon as that happens. I'd like to ship some out this week. If we have enough cases and enough dials and enough everything, I'll ask Sebastian to send them up to Mike to have them start shipping. We may start shipping with DHL. I tell you, after this, I'm glad we shipped with FedEx because we found out in a big way what the problem was with ostrich. Ostrich is not part of CITES. They're not an endangered species, but you have to say this and that and so on and so forth, which Mike had, but it was inside the box with the watch. Apparently, they decided, well, they didn't have to open that. So now we're going to put it in the sleeve. And I don't know. I'll leave it up to Mike. He's the expert on this thing. But I'll say, look, DHL or FedEx, either one. UPS is fine too. So So once we get that to happen, then somebody else could deal with that. By the way, too, if you, I have an account with FedEx, and it's a really good idea because if you contact them about something, you can um, you can go ahead and say if there are any custom charges or any of this, any of that, just put it on my account, and then they'll put it on your credit card. That's what they did with me. Now the funny thing is that like 2 weeks later, I got a letter saying, "Oh, this is your customs and so on and so forth. Oh, you don't have to pay it; you already paid it." So that's I guess a good thing. I hope the whole same thing is with DHL. I better get them with everything and the post office. But that's where we are right now on E2. Okay. Oh, let me check. I'll find out. When I ship my watch back to be, it's not there. Let me see if I have it here. Okay. See if you can. Okay, that's the back. These are, by the way, too. Protexo did a really good job on the. Everybody read that okay? I don't. It doesn't appear to say anything about ostrich. Um, this is what the other side looks like of our straps. So they turned out very nice. We had and the buckle. We have a different buckle this time too. I wanted to show you that. It says Lyrique. That's our buckle. The buckle's different because the one we had initially was 2018, and this one is 2016. Now, what that means is that it's 20 millimeters at the lug, and then it tapers down to the end to here. Or actually, the best way to see it is right here at the buckle. Here, it's down to 16 millimeters. This was because our designer said he thought it would look better, and I usually go with the designer on that. So, one thing I can say is that once you get the watch, if it's don't overwind it. I don't know. I'm the only person that seems to be able to break it no matter what. Okay. So it's if it's on the back, it would happen a little faster. I wish it would, Abdul. That's a very good point. But what they wanted, they know it's ostrich. What they want to know is that where was it farm raised and where was it farm raised? Okay. Ours was farm raised in South Africa. And in the sleeve where you put the paperwork, if you have it with all of that information, where you have this is called a watch worksheet, and you have something like this, and what we had before was bovine, cowhide. Cowhide's the best thing to put down. They were putting down things like veal and things like that. Cowhide is fine. At least the Americans know what cowhide is. It doesn't mean it's for everyone. That was the other thing. They wanted to know what the liner was. So we've got ostrich, farm-raised ostrich hide from South Africa, and we have a cowhide liner. That's the kind of stuff they need to know. And there's just anyway. Okay, but we got a great strap on that. All right. Next up, I got the one of the things now that I'm a member of the academy. I all of us got notices. I think I don't know how many members of our group are also part of the academy. I know that Benny is as well, and we got these things, and we're supposed to have nominations. Well, I talked to Nicholas. I said, Nicholas, should we nominate our own watches? They were asking us to nominate watches. Well, I had done a review this year of this watch by a company called Hercules that had sort of a mountain climbing watch, and one of the most interesting features of it was they had loom in the height lines that they put in the back of it. So I put it up for that, and also Benny's connected up with it. But it was sort of interesting because Nicholas said, "Well, if you're part of the academy, you don't have to worry about that. They'll take care of it." But then I read the details that said, if you're a member of the academy and you're associated, you can put yours up. And so that's what I'm going to do. Now, what they need, we have in fact, most of our application, our entry is already done because I did it a year ago. But then we found out that we weren't going to have the watch in time. And so as a result, we're all set to go. Owen and some of the others helped do the write-up, and I think it's a pretty good write-up in both English and French. But that's not the issue. On this one, they said they wanted this, that, they wanted the price, and they wanted a website. Okay, this is where Hater comes in, but I think it's going to be more than Hater, because and again, if anybody in this group who happens to be here today or sees this recorded video is a webmaster, please contact me. We need that. What we need is a good, clean website. Okay. Now we have the great name Lyrique.ch that Hater got, but right now it's got a picture of our business card, or actually a business card I did. I'm going to redo that. On the cover of it looks something like this, and then there's a link called Reach Out. I think you had it, and that rings my doorbell. And so, but we don't need, what we really need is this. What I would like, I think, and I as soon as they can get a hold of Hater, we can see if we can get this squared away. I think we need 4 links, okay, with the front page, and then we'll have separate pages for each one of our watches. For the first one, that shouldn't be too hard because we got pictures and everything of it. For the second one, the current one, we got some great pictures, and then we can put that in a separate web page. For the third one, we're working on it, and we can have some of the images that from sort of the base movement and some sort of give an idea of what we're doing. And then the fourth one that Abdul's going to be working on, we can have a link that would go to Abdul to say, this is the one we're planning if you're interested. I got a feeling that we probably have over 100 Abdul who signed up on, at least from the traffic that I've gotten asking about it. Somebody wants 2 and 3. I get those all the time, and I tell them, we go see 4. Over 120, yeah. So and some of the guys yesterday, some of the OGs, they want to be involved too, but they're sort of, they're some of them are asleep at the wheel, and this thing's going to fill up pretty quickly. And there could be some people who are going to be awfully upset because they did get in early, and they're not going to make it. I think what we've got to do, our Abdul gets to do. Yeah. Yeah, I put out a cartoon, they get that. What we need, and I guess I think we've done it pretty well on the first two. And I think we're in pretty good shape on the third one, but what we allocate is, first of all, we have the OGs, the number twos, and then the number threes. So those of you who are in number two now will have priority over anybody after you, and number threes will have priority over any of the new guys. So first we have to do that, but we also have to have even amounts for the European group that includes India and Africa, the U.S. group, which is not the U.S. group anymore, it's the Americas group, that includes North and South America, and then the Asia-Australian group that includes Asia and Australia, except for India, which is with the European group. So we're going to have like 30, 33, 33, 33, something like that. So that'll be up to Abdul to figure that out, but that's going to be important because I know that Benny has a whole bunch of things that he's sent. By the way, too, we got these. This is just a short aside. If you have, if you're going to be away, once I find out when sort of your group is we're going to be able to ship and how many are going to be able to ship. Some people say, well, I'm going to be gone then. What should I do? Well, what you should do is have it go, ideally would be at your workplace where you have somebody who can pick it up for you, or some other place for it to be signed for. So if you're going to go away, that's going to be important to set that up. Okay, so let me see what you got here. I had a whole bunch of responses here. Should we increase production to 150 to cut cost? The reason I'm laughing, Michael, you're right. I mean, why not 200? 200 would be very easy. It would cut the cost. You're absolutely right. Since Abdul is the guy that's going to be handling it, sure, go ahead. That's terrible of me. I don't think it's a good idea, Michael, especially for the structure we have right now. Your idea is a good one, and we wouldn't have a problem having 150 people, but believe me, there's a lot of juggling that goes on, a whole lot of juggling. I mean, just with that, then we have the three transfer coordinators for the different areas, and they're juggling stuff too. So it's, we have a whole lot of things going on. I think 100, but it's up to Abdul for number 4. It totally is his call, not mine. Yeah, Donald's right. That's a very good point. Yeah, a bunch of people, as soon as they say, okay, let's pony up, where'd they go? Yeah, that's true. People get excited and they want it. I think I think it's going to be hardening up a lot, especially if we get nominations or something like that. It's going to harden up a lot. And that means, by hardening up, I mean people. I've been contacted by people with serious money that, they want a lot more than just the watts. So yeah, Donald's points is a good one and it's true, but I think, like I said, it's going to harden up. there's no problem in getting over the number that we hope to have. And that's going to be necessary. But what people might be told is where they are on one of the lists. Payment number 3, half dropped out. What? How did they? I had to take care of a few of those, but I didn't realize it was half. Maybe put non-refundable $100 deposit can cover the donated watch for charity. Hey, that's a good idea, Michael. That's a great idea. Just reach out to a friend who is more than capable of designing a site. They are enthusiastic as well. Have them contact me, okay? Here's my the plan, okay? The homepage, which is the one that Hater has, that will simply have 4 contacts, and then we'll have 4 different people on the 4 that we have. I say that because Abdul has more of the inside information on that, and then your friend, we have to do it very judiciously. Have him contact me though, okay? Drummer Dad. Oh, I know who you are. Contact me, okay, with this guy. Oh yeah, we're not spending anything on it, all right? So you tell your friend that, yeah, he'd be enthusiastic as well. But this is something man, I tell you, everything has been eating up our budget like mad, and this is on number 2. Yeah, Paul, good point. Excellent point. Yeah. By the way, Abdul, I'm not telling you what you should do. I just it was more like save yourself than it was like you should do this. Do what you want. I see that's one of the things. This will be Abdul's 4th time around, so this is a man with experience. Okay. There is time is of the essence on getting this website up. All right. The reason I say that is that the schedule, we don't have that much time. And so I'm going to try to put something together that we can link to from our main site, and that can go up right away. But I would like to see all 4 of them, and then we look a little realer. But I think if we just have the one, if we just have number 2 for sure, then we're covered on that. But I think it'd be nicer if we had more than that. By the way, too, God, we're going to have a price, and the price that we put on last year was 29,000 Swiss francs. That includes VAT. VAT went up between then and now. It used to be 7.7, and now it's up to 8.1. We can still use that number, though, I think, without contradiction. We can call it an inflation fighter if we want. But so we'll have something on the site. Now, the thing is that we're not going to have a how to order, okay? I think our site will almost be more like a museum than it will be a typical website. I don't know. You guys listen, but I really could use some help on this. Brian, that's a good point. Unfortunately, it's a good point. I say unfortunately because I think you're right. We'd have to be careful about that. We could take it possibly as not a non-refundable deposit, but as a donation toward the Horological Society of New York that we're buying a watch with. But that's a very good point. Something we got to watch out for. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Anyway, but like I said, I'm going to put together a web page. All right, it will be a very simple one. Let me tell you the model that I like for now, and that's the one Hermes has. They use it looks like a typewriter font they have, and it's just a picture of the watch, name of the watch below it, another picture, the back of the watch. Well, they don't even have that. They got the watch, and then you click below it, and it goes to another thing. I'm going to make it simpler than that. Picture with a caption to go with it. Picture caption, price. Nothing about how to order because they can't. And then later on, we can have something a little more elaborate. But like I said, our site, I think, is going to be more like a museum than a typical, like a for sale site, even though we have to put the price up. Juan, yeah, it was at the all of the stuff that was posted at up at the our H2 our E2 website. It was 18,000. We were hoping for like a whole lot more than that, but like I said, everything. I wish other things. I wish we had the watch there. I wish we got it Monday after the gala. Nick Masusos got it and loved it. I got an email from the guy who bought it. He loved it. He wanted to know. It was interesting. He wanted to know. He said, "How did it turn out pink?" He said, "Was that intentional or was that a fortunate accident?" And I told him the truth, what happened. And I said basically we had ordered them from. We had a dark rose color that we wanted for more of a burgundy, and they sent out 5, and they were much lighter, and so we had to have it changed to burgundy. So we thought, well, Nick had asked for something unique. He wanted like an only watch. I got to tell you though, we lucked out by not being involved with that only watch thing. I am 100% for what the only watch is getting money for. But there was such a scandal with them. I figure us not being associated with it is probably not a bad thing. And plus the fact that we were the only ones that had a watch for the Horological Society. I'm going to also talk to Nick. They have all of these supporters down there. I'd like us to be added to that list, but the ones they have are really great. By the way, too, just as another thing, apparently we were recognized by the Grand Prix because when you go through there, they say, okay, pick the company that you're putting up. And ours was bigger in life. So I thought that was sort of cool. It's 18K. Michael, yeah, I think that's not a bad idea. This is our charity. We can say, yeah, that is a good idea. Um, Um, I don't think so. Oris had something else, I think, but I could be wrong. I have to take a look at that, Brian. They had something. I've been waiting for the pictures to come out on my camera. It's really weird. There's this one button you shouldn't push or that you need pushed, and somebody who took the pictures, it wasn't me. They were all blurry. Most of them were. You saw some of the ones that weren't blurry. But I talked to Nicholas, and he said they were going to have all of the 2024 out, and they haven't yet because they got a lot of really great pictures. And I'd like to see the sort of the part of the auction where our watch is featured. They had a big screen with our watch on it. It was sort of cool. No, we're not lowering the price. We're going to go with 29,000. Here's why. We got in trouble once for lowballing our own watch. I mean, all we care about really is getting sort of we're doing it for the honor and sort of the recognition for what we put into it. Because we don't have to worry about selling a watch. We're dealing with a watch that's already been sold out. And the delivery did start in April, whether late as it may be and as few as it may be. And that becomes important because there's sort of a timeline. They say that you can enter a watch that was, where they say, commercialized during this and this, and we've done that already. Impressions are everything. Yeah, they are. They have, auctions. People never know what happens at an auction. And the thing is that what we emphasized was the fact that all of this money went to the Horological Society's scholarship fund, which, that's a very good thing. Boy, I thought they had something else, Brian. I'll have to take a look at that. Maybe you're right. I remember seeing something about Oris, but I didn't realize it was a watch. I thought they had some other kind of thing. They had some things like Ulysse Nardin had some, thing to watch them make their watches or something, stuff like that. Anyway, like I said, I'm like by Friday, I want to have, no later than Friday, I want to have this website up for at least for number 2, because that's the one we're going to need a link to. Okay. All right. Let's go on to Etude number 3. The Arizulu. We had a decision that we had to make. We had 3 options, and everybody liked 1 and 2. That was the great majority. I think we ended up with one on that. A lot of people saw this as their side won or lost. Nobody lost. All right. We made a decision, and that's important so we could move ahead. Early on, it was going to one option. Then later on, it went to another. And by the end of the day, it was decided. It's just so we go on. All right. We shouldn't try to second guess ourselves. That doesn't help at all. We're more involved in doing things. We make a decision, then we go on. We come to a question point, make a decision, then go on. In terms of what I've wanted myself, I've lost more than one, believe me, but I haven't lost because we made a decision. So I think the decision we made was a good one. At least Nicholas Viderek said he thought that was by far the best decision. We've got 2 new complications. We've got double snail cams. We got all kinds of other stuff going on. And so I think having that on a nice flat case that we're not going to have to, worry going south on, I think is a good thing. This is something else that has been held up by Watches and Wonders. The study, we were supposed to get the study the first 2 weeks in February, and here it is in the middle of April almost. In fact, it is the middle of April. And, so I've been on them about it, and the person who's doing it, his name is Guy, Guy. And I think, he's going to be freed up from what he had to do for Watches and Wonders. There was some kind of thing that H. Moser had that they had promised for Watches and Wonders, and there were we, and then here we are. But like I said, they don't want somebody whining incessantly, which I have to do to get something done, and so I try not to. I try to get them to get something done. We've got, by the way, too, we've got some great friends in strong places who are very much on our side. I hope everybody understands that. Like I said, problems that we're having are problems that every watch company has. In fact, we have far fewer because we're not dealing with marketing. We're not dealing with, I don't know if any of you saw those funny ads that H. Moser used to have, where this advertising company would come in, they would have a pitch for H. Moser, and they would see something terrible go wrong. Like if we had, some celebrity, and the next thing they do, they act like Pee Wee Herman, and and suddenly, or who was the guy was, there was a guy who was in Subway sandwiches. The guy ate Subway sandwiches and lost weight, so he was a spokesman until I found out that he was molesting children. We don't have that problem because we're sort of do our own ads ourselves. But what other kinds of things that they have? I mean, the kinds of things we run into. We're like a real watch company. Jared, yeah. Jesus. They wish they could forget it. Abdul is right. Yeah, consensus. We're trying to reach a consensus. Even if we had wanted X and the group chose Y, we need to just say, okay, well, we're going to go with Y, and instead of X, and so we're going to make the best of it. Because we got to do that. There's no, I mean, it's not a matter of like, we're going to argue about it for the rest of the production. That's past us, and we just sort of move on. We got enough headwinds just getting our Etude number 2 out the door. That's important. Okay, Matu will be leaving on a world tour. He's got his own watch project called the Meta, and he's leaving in May. In fact, he'll be in New York in May, and I'm trying to set up a thing that we can meet him. Brian and some of the other guys who live in the New York area. I think it'd be great if we could meet up with Matu. Talking to him though, it sounds like they're. I don't want to become underfoot, so to speak. He'll be he'll be promoting a Meta, and we're probably not the people to promote it to. All right, we can sort of say, hey, it's really great, or say something nice about it, but we're really not. I mean, it's sort of like taking a watch to a competition. Amita is going in a different direction. It's a very different looking watch that Matu had designed, and we can help them promote it and everything. But so I'm hoping we can meet up. Yeah, Donald, I got the same feeling. He told me he said, well, maybe in the evening we could get together. I I was thinking of a day trip. I mean, if I go at night, I gotta spend the night, which means a not inexpensive New York hotel, but I can take a Metro North over there and back, meet for a while and come home. But again, what I was thinking would be a good venue if we could do it is sort of meet at the library at the Horological Society of New York. But again, he may be more interested in heading down to where some wholesalers are or something like that. He probably Benny may be able to handle the Chinese end of it. That would be great. I think so. That's a good question, Apar. I think he's going to. I don't know whether he'll be going to New York first. He had sent me a sort of a schedule of where he was going, and so he'll be gone. The thing that impacts us is that we've got about 2 weeks before he leaves. I'm hoping that he can get the design going on Etude number on our Arizulu. That's going to be important. See, we can't even talk to a dial maker until we have the precise information for the dial, and that's what we've been waiting on for the study from Agonor. So we have the Agonor study of the AGH 50. Matu needs that for design and case design. And so we can't get a quote. We can't get anything until that. And so, boom, like I know this is his project. He had told me he's going to be really busy, and we just need to get it to a point where these other people can work on it. So anyway, Michael, that's a very good question. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could say. He needs, in order to do it, he needs the precise information from the 6850 study. We don't want to jump the gun on that. If we try to do it early, that was what happened to us on this one, and it cost us $56,000 because we had our Swiss francs because they had done it early so that we could be moving along on it. And then we found out that the 6802 was going to be just a little different. Well, just a little different makes a huge difference in terms of having it exactly what we need for our watts. So, that's where we are on that. But there's all of these. By the way, too, guys, these are all good questions. I just, it's like I got a feeling. I just hope that we get the time that that Matthew can give us the time that we need to get those things done. I really do. Okay. That's where we are right now. If anything else new comes up, we had something I think that I paid for on Combla Mine, and then I got a notice from them that that we didn't pay the VAT, and we will get the VAT back, but it won't be until sometime after June. That was about $7,000, I think, $8,000, 7,000 something Swiss francs. But that's money we'll get back, and I wish we had paid it earlier because then we would have got it back from the first quarter. But well, we got it into the second quarter, so we'll get it back by the third quarter. No, Agenor doesn't need any design work at all. What it is, well, unless you're talking about the movement design, and that's what Guy does, Guy Guy. Michael, yeah, he does that work, but not the other part of it. Specs, yeah. No, they got that. Agenor takes care of that. They don't need a designer though for it. They have like a one who does that, who's really good at it, and that's Guy. I think some of I think there's a stronger connection, I think, with Agenor and precision engineering now, and I'm not sure how that works, but I do know that precision engineering is responsible for the work with Agenor for the Agengraph chronograph. And so I know they've been working together, but I'm not quite sure how or where or what that involves. Okay. Well, listen, I will, as far as I'll try to find out if there's a place that we can meet with Matthew in New York in a couple of weeks, actually. If it's a nighttime thing, I can't make it this time around. I'm broke from going to the gala, but I could make a run over there a daytime, day trip, but not much after that. But if there is an evening thing, maybe the guys, Brian and Drummerhead or whoever else lives near that area can have a meeting with Matthew. That'd be cool. Okie doke. That's all for right now. Anybody have anything else? Hi, Juan. Yeah, I will, Juan. You'll be there in May. Great. Juan, yeah, what I'll do is I'll put it up on the E3 and E2 sites, okay? If you can meet there. Right now, see, the thing is that Matthew this is a business trip for his Amida project. And so we have to respect that. And so that's that. And so if there's a time for us to meet with him, or even better, that we could help in some way for him to promote it, I'd be glad to do it. So, Paul, you're going there in May. You're going to be, well, Matthew's here, Paul. You're going to be in Geneva, I thought. Jeez. Okay, anything else you guys have? I'm hoping that I'll be paying more invoices pretty soon because I need to make sure that our money holds out, and plus for shipping, and watching the dollar versus the Swiss franc go up and down just is not fun at all. Okay, take care. Thanks, Abdul. Drummer Head, have your guy contact me, okay? We'll see you.